segments here. And this is Peter Godinez, Ambassador, just in case you're joining us. This is Good Morning Oxnard, although we're approaching 11 o'clock, so some of you may be just waking up.
That's true.
But this is KEYTV.net. And again, I always find it a privilege when people come in and just, commit to wanting to talk to me. I don't know what it is, but I have Irene Pinkard. And I always want to make sure, because I want to say Pinkard, and I want to get slapped in the face by my producer with Pinkard. But she is such an interesting person, and again, as I say, it's a sin, it's just it's hard talking about her. But I told her I was going to take my engaging, but then I turned all the way up to 11. And so, Bob Allen gave me a little profile on you, and there's some announcements that we're going to keep this hush about. And
well, we're going to keep them under our hats for now.
Right, we're going to do that element, and people go, well, what is Peter? And we're going to be a lot of rumors starting around. So
that's good.
I like rumors.
I do too.
That's good.
Some turn out to be true.
Now, this is the kind of history that pretty soon you'll see a movie based on a true story. That's why I saw your profile. So tell me a little about you and your family. Where did this all begin?
Well, there's two segments to my family, I guess you could say. There's the segment of me being raised in Riverside, and that is a story related to my father, who was a minister.
Really?
And so my upbringing has always been service, because that's how I was raised. And when I was in Riverside, even when I was in elementary school, I would tutor kids younger than myself who were having problems, my neighbors. It was just something I did, and I ushered at church when I was a kid. I still usher while I'm here in Oxnard at Bethlehem Church. So I have been doing those things all my life. Service has been my purpose and is my purpose. So I met my husband, who was my minister in Los Angeles.
Really?
His brother, rather, was my minister in Los Angeles, who introduced me to my husband.
Good way to meet people.
Isn't it? And especially if the minister does it.
Oh,
must be a good guy.
That's a good reference.
Yes, right. So he introduced me to my husband, Becker, and that's how we became a couple, and I moved here to Oxnard with him.
To Oxnard.
Right.
May I ask what year that was?
In 1987.
Okay, it's a good year.
1987. Really 88, because we had a commuter marriage for a year until
Those are hard.
they are. So I was living in Carson, where I lived, and was working at LA Community College District as an executive assistant to the chancellor there. And then after about a year, I was able to change jobs and then come here and work at Oxnard College as a dean of continuing ed under Dr. Elise Snyder.
Really?
Yes. So that was a wonderful experience working there. So when I came here, my husband was already involved in community service and service in the community. So it was a good match for the two of us. He was into service, I was into service. So I didn't miss a beat in terms of coming here. And I started doing things in the recreation department, doing workshops for kids through the recreation department, self-imagery, motivation. And I did a little fashion show for the girls so that they could build self-esteem and how to walk and carry themselves. So it just started like that. And he was on the school board, and that was a connection. I was already in the school system. He was on the school board. We had discussions about school and youngsters and how they learn better. And then he got off the school board. And I said, there's a void there, so I said, well, why don't I try for the school board? And then I was on the school board for a while. And he was on the city council. Then when he got off, and I said, well, you left a void there. So I
church said there's a void right here.
You tried. And so, pardon?
I said, is this on a poster at your house? I like this.
No, we just, we talked about things that go on in the community. And so we were talking about things that were going on at the schools, and I said, they need somebody. He said, well, why don't you run then? And I said, well, I guess instead of talking about it, I ought to get involved, and that's how I got on the school board. When he got off the city council, I said, the calm voice that you used to have
Tomboys.
He's more calm than I don't know why.
I want to see this.
Well, he's one of these people who is very quiet, but when he speaks, you listen.
I don't know, passive aggressive, I don't know what they call those, right?
That's something kind of like that, but not so much aggressive, just passive, how should I say it? Authoritative.
He must be
kind of.
6 foot 1,000.
Oh, no, he's only 5'11", 5'12".
Okay, keep on going.
But he used to be a boxer.
Okay,
So
I got so many clarification questions, but I want you to keep on.
So that's probably what people remember, that he used to be a boxer. But he used to be a lot more dynamic in terms of getting his point across, but he learned that by just listening and bringing out those salient points that would have people stop and think was working a lot better for him.
So he's
And I haven't learned that yet.
He's been Irene trained, so
Yeah.
now you're Elaine trained, right?
That happened.
Now, what district are we talking? Because I'm very involved in education,
Uh-huh.
so when you say the schools,
I'll start junior high school.
okay, so the high school district.
Right,
Okay.
because I was in secondary ed.
Okay.
So that was more of a fit.
And that was
for me
Oxford
than the other one.
Elementary.
I'll start Union High School
Yes.
District. But the Oxnard School District is the younger.
Right.
You know,
Listen,
right.
who are you involved right now? Again, I'm really not trying to practice selective
That's
listening.
okay, that's okay.
Right now, are you involved with because I know your name, so I did the celebrity that I'm trying to put
Oh,
this in.
no,
So, help me, I'm just a guy, you know?
But what I'm doing right now, I'm still working with youngsters.
Okay.
For the last 25 years, my husband and I have been taking young people, high school age, in the county to historically black colleges and
Okay.
universities. And we do that during spring break. And we take them for a week. We take them for a week, and their plane fare, their lodging, and 1 meal a day, and ground transportation for under $1,000 for a week. And we've been doing that for 25 years. And we started off by going because our cousin was going to graduate from Prairie View University. And we said, oh, that'd be wonderful for kids to see that, to see a lot of African Americans in college graduating and see the president and vice president who look like them because they don't get that experience in Ventura County. So we asked some of the young people at our church, would you like to go on a weekend trip with us to see a graduation at a historically black college and university? And the parents said, sure, they can go with you. They trusted us, so they said they could go. So the youngsters, we took 6 that first time. Our cousin cooked meals for us, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because she had a house there. Her son went to school, he was the graduate, but the older cousin had a house there that he stayed in, so she offered to cook breakfast, and we stayed in a motel down the street from the school. So it was a weekend. We went on a Thursday evening and came back on a Sunday. It cost the kids $250, and that's how it started. And it's been going for the last 25 years. We pick up to 30 kids every spring break, and the experiences are phenomenal. We've met celebrities. We've been in the home of Maya Angelou, who knew we were coming when we went to Wake Forest. And we wrote one traditional college, and she invited us to her home and spoke to the kids, and they have never forgotten it. So it's been a real passion of mine to work with young people. And so I also have started a Pinkard Youth Institute where we are working with students so that they get leadership training, and that's called the African American Leadership Academy. And we have taken the college tour and put it under that umbrella. And right now I'm working on internships. And we have 10 kids who are going to be interns. They start next week. And we are paying them $100 a week, a stipend. It's not hour for hour, it's just a stipend. So some will be at the hospital, some will be at a church, some will be at different organizations that work with youth. One will be working with a political
you didn't tell me the significance of who I was being interviewed. I'm not worthy, so you're gonna have to find
Yes,
somebody.
yes, you
No,
are.
no,
Yes.
I tell you,
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, I just, what comes to my mind, did you keep your maiden name, or did you take on, is Pinkard your married name?
No, Pinkard is my married name.
Okay,
Uh,
I gotta ask what your maiden name is.
Right.
That
My
was
maiden
a
name-
sacrifice. I'll let you know.
My maiden name was Stevens.
Okay.
My father was Reverend Stevens, and then
Okay.
this was my second marriage, so I was Mother Goose when I was in